Of all the gin joints and all the towns and all the world, she walks into mine.
As time goes by.
Hello everyone, today I want to discuss with you one of my favorite films of all time, and that is Casablanca. Casablanca came out in 1942, produced by Warner Brothers Entertainment, and was directed by Michael Curtiz. It stars such actors as Humphrey Bogart, Claude Rains, Paul Henreid, and Ingrid Bergman. The film was nominated for 8 Oscars, and winning 3, for Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Screenplay. The film is set in Casablanca, Morocco in 1941 during World War II. It centers around Rick Blaine, portrayed by Humphrey Bogart. During the film, he comes into possession of 2 letters of transit. These letters of transit are very important because French refugees who are fleeing occupied France need these papers in order to travel safely throughout Europe and to gain access to neutral countries, including the United States at the time. But the thing is, Rick is very much a neutral character. He doesn't like to get involved in any type of confrontations that are going on at the time. The inhabitants of his cafe on a nightly basis are anywhere between French refugees to French freedom fighters to Nazi soldiers to French police to Italian soldiers. So he's very much all about things that concern him, specifically the well-being of his cafe and the workers that are in it. That is until his long-lost love, Ilse Lund, comes back into his life, portrayed by Ingrid Bergman. But she's not alone. She has her husband, portrayed by Paul Henreid, named Victor Laszlo. And they need these papers because he is very much on the run from the Nazis, because he is a leader of the underground resistance that is throughout Europe. Now, Rick is torn between his love and animosity towards Ilsa for breaking his heart once upon a time, and also his philosophy of staying neutral when it comes to the matters of politics. What plays out in the film is this tale of love, romance, drama, suspense, and what is categorized as one of the greatest films of all time, and certainly, like I said in the introduction, one of my personal favorites. It's its combination of genres and just its flawless acting by all those involved. You know, even small actors in small parts like Cindy Greenstreet and Peter Lorre are fantastic. I just want to take a look at the acting for a second. The acting is really, really phenomenal in this film. It's so classic in its nature. It's so natural. It's so well done. There's such great chemistry between the characters that it's all very, very believable on screen. Specifically, Claude Rains, who plays this corrupt captain of the French police, and Rick are just, their banter back and forth is phenomenal. They're both friends and enemies. You know, they're both out for things to benefit themselves, but yet again they have this respect for one another, this playful respect throughout the film. The romantic chemistry between Ingrid Bergman and Humphrey Bogart is so fantastic. Their characters just mesh with each other on the screen so much. It's highly regarded as one of the most believable and greatest on-screen romances of all time. A lot of that is due to how great the screenplay is. It did win the Oscar that year for Best Screenplay for a reason, because the screenplay is so tight and so nuanced and so fantastically well put together that every scene leads into another scene. The whole film has fantastic pacing, so well put together, so masterfully directed. You know, Michael Curtiz is one of the most underrated directors of all time, and in my opinion, he is one of the greatest of all time. He has a filmography that is over 150 films long. I believe IMDb has it at 174 credits to his name, which is astonishing. His career went from 1912 all the way up until 1961, and unfortunately he passed away the very next year, and if he had not passed away, he probably would have done more films. He was a phenomenal director. Granted, he was not a very nice director towards his actors. There are lots of stories by a lot of famous people who did not believe that he treated his actors fairly, and that seems to be a trend amongst a lot of great filmmakers. They don't tend to treat their actors or people working on their films very well, but they are able to create fantastic products. The film has some timeless themes. like romance and sacrifice and love and loss and neutrality and individualism versus the greater good. You know, Rick has to fight within himself about what he really wants in life. Does he want these selfish things, or does he want to do things for the greater good? Because during the time that the film is depicted, it is a very dark time for the Allies in World War II. In 1941, the United States had not gotten involved yet. A Western Front hadn't been set up. This is very much the aftermath of the occupation of France and the Battle of Britain, where Britain was just getting bombarded by Germany. So this is a very dark time, and this film is very much sympathetic to the Allied cause. It doesn't paint the Nazis in a positive light because, frankly, the Nazis were not very positive people. But the film is very much has a theme throughout that is very much pro-Allies. And that has to do with a lot with Michael Curtiz, because Michael Curtiz was from Budapest, and which was very much in Nazi Germany, and a lot of his family he was able to get out before things got really bad, but a lot of his family ended up in concentration camps and were killed as a result of the Holocaust. So this was a very personal film for him. So he pulled out all the stops when it came to his directing prowess, and this film was very much an amalgamation of all of the skills and techniques that he'd been using in Hollywood for 20 years previously. He put all of that effort and really put everything into this film to make it as great as it was, and that's why it is so revered today. The character of Victor Laszlo, portrayed by Paul Henreid, is a leader of the underground resistance in Europe against Nazi Germany. He is purposely in the film on the run from Nazi Germany. His character spent time in a concentration camp, so that is a direct connection to the Holocaust. And this film is very much a rallying cry about how much Europe needs help during World War II, and at the time it did. The filmmaking in this film is something that I think should be studied, and probably is studied in film schools all across this country and probably all across the world. His techniques of moving the camera, dolly shots, dolly zooms in, dolly zooms out, are really unprecedented at the time. They were unprecedented. Really only directors like Alfred Hitchcock were using camera movement techniques like that. Really, really progressive camera moving techniques were used in this film. Michael Curtiz learned a lot from working in German cinema in the 1920s. The German cinema, which used German Expressionism, which was this fantastic dark way to light scenes that's really, really fantastic. That was really the foundation for the film noir. Film noir, which is a genre that he worked in as well. He also was the man of many genres throughout his career. He worked in everything from action-adventure films, to musicals, to comedies, to dramas, everything. He's the man who very much launched the career of Errol Flynn. They were involved in 12 films together. Also, he was responsible for discovering Doris Day. He directed her first 2 films. This was a man who thrived in the studio system, having worked within it for all the way from the mid-1920s to the 1950s. Michael Curtiz very much had a reputation for being able to find great talent, and he did so in this film. The actors of Casablanca were very much unknown when this film came out. They were known in the sense that they had been in films before, in the 1930s, and of course leading up to 1942. But Humphrey Bogart wasn't a household name. Humphrey Bogart was not regarded as we regard him today as this one of the greatest actors of all time. Humphrey Bogart was only really a tough man or a bad guy or a side character, small roles like that. He was not really a leading man until the early 1940s with things like The Maltese Falcon and High Sierra, and then of course Casablanca. Ingrid Bergman, same thing. She had been in films as well, but she was not regarded as one of the greatest actresses of all time like she is now. Ingrid Bergman was actually nominated for an Oscar the same year, but not for Casablanca, but for Whom the Bell Tolls, which was an adaptation of an Ernest Hemingway novel. Paul Henry Reed really didn't get his claim to fame or really get his launching point until 1942 with Casablanca, and also Now Voyager, which was a film that came out the same year, where he starred opposite Bette Davis, who is regarded as one of the greatest actresses of all time. Paul Henry Reed, who is an actor that more people should know, because he has had one of the most well-rounded careers of any actor. He was an actor, a director, a producer, a man of many hats, and he is a phenomenal actor. Claude Rains, who was in several Universal monster pictures, The Wolfman, The Invisible Man, stuff like that. He was probably the most well-known of all the actors in the film. He had been nominated for an Oscar before with Frank Capra's Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, where he played a senator. So very much this film was a launching point for these four actors. This film personally means so much to me because it was very much a gateway into classic cinema, specifically classic American cinema from the golden age of the 1940s. It started a love affair that I have with classic cinema. Even without that personal interest in the film, it's still a phenomenal film. Like I've been saying, it's a film with fantastic acting, fantastic writing, a story that's tightly knit, a screenplay that's very, very well done and so quotable. There are so many quotes from this film. You saw it in my intro. I used one of the quotes. I could have used an abundance of quotes to do it. That was one that's just so iconic. That's what really is this film. This film is iconic. There are iconic sequences, iconic scenes with iconic actors. With all that being said, I don't even know if I need to really give a rating for this film, but for me, it's the highest rating. It's a 5 out of 5. It's a film that I highly recommend for people who want to get into classic cinema, because it's not an overly complicated story. It's not a slow story. It's easily engageable. The characters are engageable within it. But what I would like to do before I end this video is I want to show you the Blu-ray sets. There are 2 different Blu-ray sets that have been available over the last 8 years or so. And there are differences between them. Specifically, differences in packaging, and differences in extras, and there's also differences in terms of quality of video and audio. These are the 2 Blu-ray deluxe sets that you can get. The one on the left here is the older one from 2009, which is the Ultimate Edition, and the one on the right is the newer 70th Anniversary Edition that came out in 2012. What the main difference is in both of these sets, obviously, are the size of the packaging, and 2, the one on the right, which is the newer one, has more extras than the one on the left. Also, this one here has better picture quality and better sound. So first I would like to take a look at the older set, and then the newer set, just to give you an inside look at what the packaging is and what each set holds. Let's concentrate here on this set. On the back it shows you all the details of what's inside, including a picture, of course. This set was actually one of the first deluxe sets that I ever bought for my collection. It was actually probably one of the first Blu-rays I ever got for my collection. Here in the front here is a lovely embroidered, in the sense that it's kind of see-through, slightly raised, Warner Brothers logo up front. And this here is removed simply by like this, so it comes off transparent. And what you have is a box like so. And the box slips off, and you have the contents inside. And what you got here, first of all, is the casing, which holds the disc, or 2 discs, I believe. Here is a listing of all of the contents within. 1 disc. Here on the left is the Blu-ray. Here on the right is the DVD. And this set gives you a decent extras package, not too extensive, unlike the other set, which gives you a lot more. And also, this set here was put out in 2009, which was a very kind of earlier in the run of Blu-rays, so you don't get as good a picture quality as the other one, or sound. And here's a hardcover book, a photo book. I have to say it's very nice. The reason why I keep this set specifically, one, is for obviously sentimental value, and two, because there are a few little goodies in here that you don't get in the extra in the other set. Book here, which has pictures of Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, Sam the pianist, Bergman, stuff like this, and it's very little descriptions here. A nice panoramic picture there, but all around decent hardcover book. Here's an envelope full of, I believe, yes, lobby cards. Lobby cards and many posters. This is the iconic poster, which I wish I had a giant one-sheet 27x40 of to hang up. Oh, skipped one. As you can see, this is very much an international film. And here is, looks like a letter from Warner Brothers. It looks like a bit of kind of studio notes of, probably sent to Michael Curtiz. Oh, there it goes. This is from Hal Wallace. Hal Wallace, who was one of the producers and I believe head of production for Warner Brothers in the 1930s, as well into the 1940s. And here is a cardboard box, which I believe contains some other extra goodies, some little extras, little swag if you call it, I believe. Ah, yes, this is a luggage ID tag. Yes, this is a passport holder, luggage tag. That's this set here. This set here, like I said, this is probably now out of print because, like I said, there is a newer, better set that contains a lot of the same special features. But of course, you know, this here is a few extra collectible things that aren't available in the other set. But like I said, I mostly keep this for sentimental value and for the extra stuff because the video and audio and the extras package on the other set, which you're about to see, is much, much better. It's really the best way to own the film. There was a smaller single disc edition version of this set. This is the 70th anniversary set from 2012. It is one of my prized possessions in my collection. I absolutely adore this set. I love this set so much. This was very much, I believe, a turning point in Warner Brothers distributing their classic films on Blu-ray. This is the 7th anniversary, and similar to the other set, this also has a backing. Gives you all of the detail, the disc-by-disc breakdown, which is very nice. The contents of the packaging are all displayed here, so you know what you're getting. This is really just a fantastic gift set, really for cinephiles and just lovers of this film. It's kind of a wider set. Warner Brothers loves doing this with their old classic films. They love doing these ultimate editions. They're much wider. They come in boxes. They did it with Wizard of Oz. They did it with Gone with the Wind. They did it with The Ten Commandments. They did it with Ben-Hur. They did it with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So they love this style of boxing. This comes off like this. And right away, there is a reproduction French movie poster for Casablanca. If I can get this, I can't fit it all in the frame, but you get the gist. It's a gorgeous poster here. And here, similar to the other set, there's a book here. A nice wide hardcover book. Really just phenomenal. Phenomenal in terms of not only the pictures represented in here, but the information in here as well is very interesting. I'll just flip through a few pages so you get the gist of it. You know, right away, just a wide shot of a scene in Rick's Cafe Americain. Yeah, the glare's a little rough, but I guess you get the gist. Like I said, Rick's Cafe Americain. I'll zoom out so you get the full pictures here. There's information. What makes a classic? What makes a classic? Casablanca's timeless touch. Of course, the timeless film. You know, you have each page here. You have kind of character bios. Not so much character bios, but actor bios. You know, Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, Paul Reed, Victor Laszlo, who plays Victor Laszlo, Claude Rains, Captain Louis Renault. You have here on the left is Sidney Greenstreet. Here on the right is Peter Lorre. This is Conrad Veidt, who plays Major Henrik Strasser, a German SS officer. Here on the right is Dooley Wilson, who plays Sam the pianist. Here on the left is Hal B. Wallace, who, like I said, was a big-time executive producer at Warner Brothers in the 1930s and into the 1940s. Very much a close friend to, here on the right, Michael Curtiz, who, of course, is the director which I talked about earlier. These are the letters that were reproduced in the other set. Just notice that. Behind the scenes stuff. Designed for Rick's Cafe. Humphrey Bogart in front of Rick's Cafe Americain. They probably built a lot of sets for this film. Really gorgeous looking detailed sets. There's more sets here. Yeah, I won't show you the whole book, I mean, but there is a portion of the book I do want to show you. This is what I want to show you. All the gorgeous, gorgeous movie poster artwork that was for Casablanca. I mean, just some gorgeous. They really do not make posters like this nowadays for films. You know, these gorgeous, gorgeous, well-designed, multinational posters, you know. The artwork on some of these is just phenomenal. Here are the newspaper clippings. Here's this great book. Here's the back, the plane, Casablanca 70th anniversary. Before we get to the discs, here on the left, if you just take this ribbon off here on the left is kind of a faux leather packaging here. What this contains is actually 4 coasters, Casablanca coasters. I still have them in plastic. I'll probably never open them because, you know, they're a bit of probably collector's items by now. But here are the discs. The discs are lodged in this kind of digipack packaging. Opens like this, and here on the left you get a disc by disc breakdown of the extras and what's on each disc. You know, the third disc is the DVD of the movie, which I guess is nice to have, you know, for if you have to go somewhere where you don't have access to a Blu-ray player or a Blu-ray disc drive or something like that. But it's kind of just a bonus. But this set here comes with 2 Blu-ray discs as opposed to the first set, which only had 1. Unfolds like so, and it's this The Digipack styling, 3 discs, Blu-ray 1, Blu-ray 2, and DVD. The first disc obviously contains the movie in high definition quality, but what they did with this set specifically is they gave Casablanca a new 4K remaster, a frame-by-frame restoration, and they gave it a DTS Master 1.0 audio track, which is really, really nice. They really went all the way and gave this as deluxe a presentation as they possibly could. And recently, specifically now in 2016, Warner Brothers is starting to re-release a lot of their old catalog titles like Casablanca, and they're really taking very good care of them and delivering them in the highest quality possible, which is really, really nice. Because early on in Warner Brothers Blu-ray distribution, their discs were not as good as they are now. They were in the wrong codec. They didn't have as great audio quality. There was really the early days of Blu-ray where a lot of companies were just trying things out and seeing what was good, and a lot of consumers like myself really didn't know the difference, and I'm pretty sure they didn't know either. So that's the Casablanca 70th anniversary set. I'd highly recommend buying this. I believe it's still in print as of this video. It's actually rather affordable. There is a single disc version of this where all you get is this disc, and the extras that are on here are fantastic. But with this set, you get this Blu-ray extra disc. This disc here contains 3 documentaries, essentially all pertaining to the history of Warner Brothers Studio. You get a overall documentary about the history of the Warner Brothers Studio that was made by movie critic and historian Richard Schickel and is narrated by Clint Eastwood. You get background documentary on just the Warner Brothers as themselves, and it's really, really just a phenomenal group of documentaries, specifically if you are a cinephile like myself and someone who really loves cinematic history, specifically American cinematic history, because it has a very interesting, evolving history over time, and Warner Brothers has played a huge part in that history. This has been my review of Casablanca, as well as an inside look in the various Blu-ray editions of the film. If you like this review, please stick around because there will be a lot more videos like this to come.